Hiya and welcome to the latest edition of Hit the Bar, the Morecambe fans panel. Welcome tonight, Matty back again, and Tanya and Alan. I think the first thing we've got to talk about is the breaking news today, and that's Adam Mayer's transfer to Millwall. Tanya, did you see that one coming? Had you heard any whispers, anything like that?
I did see it coming actually. I think it's been on the cards for a little while. I think his agent's quite vocal, and I think it's been on the cards. I just hope the club have got a good deal, and we wish Adam well. You know, you don't want to hold a player like that back, and if there's an opportunity for him in the Championship, fantastic. You know, I'm pleased for the lad. As long as the club have managed to get a good deal for a good asset, then, you know, wish him well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all wish him well. Yeah. Alan, do you see it as a massive loss for Morecambe at the moment?
I do, because if you look at the beginning of the season, how many players did we have? And he was one of 5 or 6 that we had. And therefore, you know, we lost him. But he was one of ours, that's the main thing. Yeah. We spoke last time here about all the loans that were taken back. Adam was one of ours. He was one of our own, if you will. Hopefully they've got the money that they say they've got, rising on appearances, goals and everything else. So it's money in the kitty which Morecambe need.
Yeah. And it always comes out as undisclosed, but have you heard any whispers about sums or anything like that?
I read on the factual website of Twitter, X, 300 going up. So listen, he's still got a lot to prove, but good luck to him. Let him go for it, let him fly, and we'll take the add-ons. Thanks very much.
How do you think he'll develop? Because I mean, this season he's a good player. We know he's a good player, but has he had the impact on Morecambe's performances that you maybe expected him to at the start of the season?
No, and I wonder whether he's had his agent in his ear. His agent did put out that thing saying the transfer window didn't go as they wanted pre-season, but he hasn't. Let's not beat about it. He's not been rubbish, has he?
No.
You know, he's
certainly a player there,
and we know how good he hopefully will turn out to be for our own war chest. But no, I don't think he's quite got there where we thought he would. But also, I don't think the consistency's been there with our team and the coaching staff as well. That's changed a lot since he burst onto the scene. Yeah. So, you know.
And Alan, I think you have a view on that, don't you, about where he's been played?
It was a case of, if you listen to him at the beginning of the season when he was interviewed, he said, he feels that Morecambe supported him, gave him confidence to play, and he was playing at his best down the left side. Yeah. But they've used him at left wing back, even, you know, moving him across into midfield. To me, he isn't. He's a person who goes past the defender and puts the ball in, and also takes the set pieces. And I agree that he's just been off in 1 or 2 of them set pieces. Did not beat the first man, did not got to the far post. So he has, you know, he's been probably 7.5, 8 out of 10 this season. Unfortunately, I also think that he does some silly tackles and gets booked. And obviously we've lost him, and okay, he's gone away, but he's banned for 2 games, you know, the next 2 games. So I think this season has cost him a little bit, but I think he'll go on to, you know, bigger things, and hopefully the sell-on clause we've got, if we've got it, we'll make money in the future.
And do you think that might be the key with him, Tanya, that with Morecambe, he's had to play in different positions because of our weaknesses in certain positions, whereas if he goes to a club at a higher level, they will have a role for him in mind. It'll be a set role. Do you think that might be the making of him?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing for a young player to slightly contradict what you said, that for a young player it's really good for them to play in different positions so that you can then see, well, actually this is the role for him. Yeah. And I guess Millwall will have a position in mind for him that he can thrive at. I agree, he went off the boil, didn't he? But I think it's hard off the back of having such a good season to keep that up, the expectations up there on him then. And if you almost make a rod for your own back being so decent, if you have an off couple of games, it's immediately he's off the boil.
And also there can be the situation, can't there, when we know how good he can be, so maybe we've rushed him back from injury a bit because we're like, quick, get him back. Where if you had the luxury of maybe a better squad, you could give him that time to recover.
I mean, how old is he? 18? That's a lot of pressure holding a team on
And
the
fan
shoulder of
pressure
an
as well,
18, yeah, thinking, oh, he's decent, this lad, we expect that every game. You're not going to get that. You don't get that from a 23, 24-year-old, never mind an 18-year-old.
But I mean, we've seen other players, haven't we? We see Eli King, only with us on loan, fair enough, but we thought he was a good player and he was instrumental in a lot of the good things we did. Michael Mellon, exactly the same. They've gone elsewhere and immediately the other teams they've gone to have gone. You know, I mean, I think Michael Mellon came off the bench at Dundee, scored one,
goal.
made two,
Yeah.
you know, turned the game. Eli King against Celtic was Ross County's best player. So we know a player, don't we, when we see them.
Well, as Derek said, they've been used to playing in a team 100 times better than in Scotland. So,
League 2, 100 teams.
yeah, 100 times better.
Better.
But no, you're right.
The flip on it as well is, look, we've got Fox Akande coming into the squad.
Yeah.
You know, what is he going to be? What's he going to do? You know, he's got a great chance now to really put himself forward and say, right, okay, this is it. I'm going to really have a good go at this.
And he's been exciting a lot of players at that sort of academy and youth level, hasn't he? Yeah. I think we'll take that straight into Colchester's game because he did look a bit sort of boy against men in that, as did one or two players. I thought Harrick was the same. We said last week when we were reviewing the Milton Keynes game, did you see that coming? None of us saw that victory at Milton Keynes coming. That's the same to you, Matty. Did you see the Colchester game coming?
No, I honestly didn't. Off the back of the Milton Keynes
And the Mansfield.
And the performance, particularly in Mansfield, I thought we really gelled as a, you know, this is like a real tight group that will proper go out for each other here. But we just seemed to get dragged into Colchester's game plan. They set a trap for us, and we absolutely fell into it.
But was it the new manager syndrome that they had? You hear about it, they just appointed new managers and they get a lift, don't they, straight away on one game? And did it just bite us?
Maybe.
But
I think there probably is that, but I just sensed right from the start we were a bit flat, Tanya, weren't we?
Yeah, I think it's one of the worst I've seen Morecambe play for quite a long time. It was boring. We were losing it all over the pitch.
And Jed would agree with you, by the way.
Lose passes. It just felt really lacklustre. And I think it's that thing of you have expectations for games. You think this is a winnable game. You know, we should be coming away from 3 points, and then a loss feels far worse because you're expecting more. There weren't any positives to come out of it. Maybe a couple of good. Faz got man of the match. He saved a few goals. Jake Budeau looked all right. We missed Joel Senior. I think we missed Guion Edwards, even though he's new. And you get niggles, and that it was just rubbish. I was more excited about the stuff going on in the terrace. All sorts going on.
But it was a case of, I missed the MK Dons game, watched it on a bit of video, and it was like, right, we're back at home, we'll do this. And Jed commented on it, that we're not doing that for the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
Our conversation after the game was, okay, let's go back to New Year's Day. How many players started the game on Saturday, started New Year's Day against Harrogate?
Such a turnover.
Yeah.
4. There was only 4 players of that starting lineup played. So you've got 7 new players in.
Yeah.
We spoke also about the abandoned Crewe game, or the game against Crewe that wasn't. Would it have been better to play it and take the MK Dons, forward from it, or was it better for a week's training?
Yeah.
I don't know. In hindsight now, you can say no. We should have probably tried to play against Crewe, and it would have taken us forward. But we didn't look like a team on Saturday.
No.
We were playing from the back instead of playing out. It was the long ball, to a striker that couldn't hold it up.
And we're not arrogant enough as Morecambe fans to say we should be beating teams like Colchester. It's not that. It's just the performances that we've seen in the last few games, and knowing you mentioned numbers of players who were in New Year. We beat Colchester, and in the end, it was quite comfortable at their place in October, I think it was. There were 2 players from that game. I think it was Bordeaux and Slew who played in that game. So it's completely, and they were, right rock bottom. As you say, they've got new managers now, so 2 completely different teams playing each other. But I think we're right. We weren't expecting that performance, were we, mate?
No. I was buoyed by the new goalkeeper, but I thought his distribution was was very poor.
Was he injured? The rumour later on we got, they got injured in the game, not enough to come off, but couldn't distribute the ball from the back.
Right. Well, what about the first half of the game when it's
Well, there was also Harris. You know, I mean, we saw him. Milton Keynes came on as a sub there. We thought he looks a decent lad. But I was saying earlier, he's used to playing sort of under 23 level and that sort of thing, and he is an athletic sort, and he can probably get away with that really tight marking. And in that level, he can probably, you know, out-muscle his. So he was really up against February, who's an absolute unit, and he was just, oh yeah, you're getting close back to me. I'll tell you what, then I'll just roll you with my strength.
Yeah.
You're off balance, I'm away, and he did it time and time again.
But then as soon as Harrod got his booking, I thought that was it.
Yeah.
But again, these are young players, and they're not throwing the keeper under the bus and not throwing Harrod under the bus.
No.
They'll learn massively from it and they'll bounce back.
Absolutely.
And I think Harrod just is
He's a good footballer.
short of match.
We know
Yeah.
that, don't we? Yeah.
And also, there's something to be said about if the players around you are performing well as a young player, that lifts you up.
Yeah.
I think what happened on Saturday was 10 out of 11 had a bad game.
Yeah.
So it just drags the whole team down. Usually a couple of bad performances, you get away with something. It was
But
pretty much everybody on Saturday, wasn't
Jed's
it?
not having it though, is he? You know. And we go to Crawley on Saturday. I mean, I feel silly saying this because Morecambe's like the English weather. You don't know what you're going to get one day after the next here. So when we're analysing opponents' opposition,
Yeah.
Milton Keynes, we thought, looking to
No
get anything
chance to
there.
play around
Colchester,
us.
we thought, we'll probably win that one. So we don't know. Do you go into Crawley with any degree of confidence, Alan?
No, not at the moment.
Well,
But
that's on the back of it. Yeah.
this is the problem. It's a case of do a few more days down the line and Jed getting the team together is that at home we play football. We play it out from the back.
Yeah.
On Saturday it was hoof up the front.
Like you said, Matt, he got drawn into, you know,
Their
a more
game.
direct game.
And it was like as if it was men against boys.
Yeah.
And it was a case of every ball that got knocked down, they got it. They won every challenge.
Yeah.
50-50 challenges became 70-30 for them.
Deserve to win it. We're not
Yeah,
messing
yeah.
about here.
But they only had one chance, didn't they, really? The free kick, which went in from a disputed free kick, but it was there and it went in.
And it was a
But going
cracking goal,
forward,
wasn't it?
Oh, it was a beautiful
Fantastic
goal, wasn't
goal.
it?
Yeah.
well, it was
I'll
top
try
thing.
and
Going
Right.
forward, we'll have to see what we get, won't we? And we hope that we can pick it up. Just off field, just look at another thing. I think the Students' Trust have announced that they're trying to organise a march, ostensibly against the current owner, but I think they're turning it more into a we want a new owner, trying to get a positive spin on it. What do you think about that one, Tanya? Do you think it's a good
To me
move?
first.
Yeah, good. Sorry about that.
In principle, I can see the benefit of everybody coming together, but the message has to be right. I think the message, if the message is Jason's Jason out, that's been said on podcasts, etc. It's more, this club is for sale, let's get some positive publicity. We made a point when we were chatting before, I feel like if the Shrimpers Trust are going to do it, they need to make sure they've got majority backing of the members of the Shrimpers Trust. I personally wouldn't want to see 50, 60 people turn out, it end up being a damp squib, and actually it's worse publicity than when we started. I think the Trust, if they go ahead with something, the message needs to be right, they need to make sure they've got a turnout, otherwise it could backfire. That's my view. Not against it, not entirely for it, not to sit on the fence, but I think it needs to be right on what they're doing.
Is that what we all think?
Pretty much, yeah, 100%. You know, we want it to go ahead. We want it to be loud and vocal and visible and a real presence. I'll definitely support it if it happens, and with by turning up.
Yeah.
But like I said, you don't want 60 people there, do you?
No, we don't want to go the route that Reading have gone. You know, let's all take a tennis ball and throw it on the pitch. And let's go on the pitch. We don't. Is that everyone wants Jason out, and Jason wants out himself.
Yeah.
But he wants an amount for the club, which he says the club is worth. Whether that amount he wants is in excess of what it is worth, I don't know. Figures are banded around.
The message of this club is for sale and we want a new owner in, if that gets publicity.
There's
All for
no
the
harm in more people knowing that Morecambe Football Club is an asset that if you can buy, if you want it, there's no harm in that. Just so you don't want 2 or 3 people saying that.
And that sort of thing might be something that's brought up at the fans forum that we mentioned. When's that? That one's coming up on 23rd.
23rd,
Yeah.
I think.
So that'll be interesting. We'll have a presence at that and talk about that at another time. But
I think times like this, communication is always positive. You can't have too much communication, can you? I think the problem always comes when there's not enough communication. For me, the missing piece of the puzzle is that saleable figure.
Yeah.
What is Jason holding out for? And are we confident and the board confident that it's realistic? You hear murmurings, don't you, with Adam being sold. There's a new TV deal somewhere in the pipeline. Is Jason waiting for that to happen? Because presumably that's going to put the value of the club more in his ballpark.
Yeah.
You don't know, but it's that communication that's key, really, isn't it?
well, we'll see. And talking about communication, we hope we can communicate next week a good result at Crawley. So thanks for joining us. If anybody does want to come on the panel, just get in touch with us through social media on the Fans Panel Shrimps Fans Panel, and we'll get you on here. Thanks for now, and we'll speak to you next week.